Hello and welcome back to the Dragon Racing League. We are underway with qualifying for round 21 in Brazil at the beautiful Interlagos F1 track. As you can see, we have just gotten started as everyone has swung out to get their first set of laps underway. So our first five, it looks like, yep, 5 drivers that have hopped out. To start off our out laps here, there is 15 corners, 2 DRS zones. You can see both of them there just after the sector 1 number, just as you come out of pit lane. Just as you come out of the pit lane there. There's that sector 1 along the straightaway before you head into, I believe that's turn 4. And then the final one coming out of midway through sector 3 on your way to the start-finish line. As you can see right underneath that number 3. Brodsky currently has the fastest sector 1 as he makes his way through sector 2, avoiding the Red Bull on the outside and heading on into turn 6 and 7 here. It's a very interesting track, very long, sweepy corners, some quick, shorter ones, 8 and 10, both going to be a little bit tighter. 10 definitely a lot tighter. It is this sort of hairpin that we are entering in here right now. And then you get to turn 12 for one of your 90-degree corners, and then it's just a long, sort of sweeping corner through 13, 14, 15, all the way through to the straightaway for the finish line. You will see quite a few people absolutely sticking to the inside, as Hayden Rogers is the fastest lap on some intermediate tires as he's doing his quick run out. Ryan Autry does, and then Barodsky with a 109.955 taking over for provisional pole. Cameron, how's it going, Ketchin? How you doing? Christopher Schultz, good luck to his son. Yes, so you will see Ben Schultz, or B. Schultz, number 44, in the Red Bull. He's currently in the pit lane, but doing his thing, getting all ready to go. As I say that, I believe that's actually him coming out right there. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that is him. As he's on his way out as we... Alright, so our new driver, Rip, with a 107.636, from everything I've heard, he is going to be fast. So we'll see how that all ends up playing out. As we can see, B. Schultz on his way out there. We have Wolf Okami and Sabino. Both, looks like Sabino having a little bit of an incident and invalidating this lap, but we can see Boogie on his way as he is about to cross the finish line, setting his first fast lap, and that will hop him up into P3 with a 110.335. See Younger going through that first DRS zone before he makes his way into turn 4, and then you've got this kind of easy sweeping for turn 5. Then a very interesting corner of you have a quick right that's flat out, and then kind of a slow it down for 7, then hammer down the brakes to get down into for turn 8, then a sort of a weird kind of loop corner for 7 before the hairpin, for 9, and then the hairpin of 10, and then again, kind of slowly feed the throttle before getting down around turn 11, heavy braking to turn 12. And then it's just flat out from here basically until turn 1 again. And that will be DRS. So your DRS detection zones, you can see them by the 2 little sort of dots, I guess. Coming out of turn 12, right after turn 13 in that final sort of sector, is the one for the, second DRS zone coming towards the finish line. And your first one is right in the middle of the Senna S's. You can see the little green dot there, and that will be your one for your first detection zone. So as of right now, the Johnny Damon is following behind Rip with his 108.559, Younger with a 109, and then Brodsky with a 109 as well. So this will be King C. Dot in the Williams as he's making his way through towards the finish line. With a 120.1. Assuming something went wrong, or he had just a really slow section. And but we'll see. Wolfsburg Tuner hops his way over as well. B. Schultz getting himself into P3, which is awesome, as I believe he said he was learning to drive without ABS. So solid time out of him with avoiding lockups for that. We're missing a few drivers. Some people could not make it, but we do have some very interesting sort of excitement to come out of this race. We do have, so you can see down in 14 right now is Knick Knack Paddywhack, and the Johnny Damon, who is currently holding on to P2. They are dueling it out to see who can win the championship here. And the Johnny Damon, between the two races we have today, so we do have a sprint race, and then we have our feature race, so he has to take a total of 4 points up on Knick Knack Paddywhack for him to be able to take the Drivers' Championship. So he basically needs to finish a couple spots ahead and have himself kind of get, not necessarily lucky, but hope that Knick Knack Paddywhack is not able to stay ahead of him at any point. And we can see where's Knick Knack going to get himself up to, right behind the Johnny Damon there in that third. Alright, so we're going to take a ride on board with the Ferrari. Rip. As he heads on for his second flying lap. A little bit of lockup on that, but keeps it going nice and smooth. Turn 5 here, and he's into turn 6 in this interesting little complex where you kind of lift a little, get back on the power, and then immediately try and brake. Hopefully not put too much of the curve while you're trying to brake. Come out and then nice and slow through turn 9 there before this hairpin of turn 10. So you want to take a nice wide entry, nice wide exit. And you can kind of start feeding the power down as you make your way through turn 11 and down towards turn 12, where you hammer down on the brakes again. Get back on the gas, try to avoid sliding on that exit. And then basically pin it all the way through. DRS open right about there. And he has decided, nope, not the best of time, so he's going to hop out and head into pit lane. Alright, with 8 minutes to go, we have a few drivers out there, so we can see the Red Devil as he's heading his way through turn 10 here, and that Alfa Romeo, which will soon be no longer named Alfa Romeo. Hey Rogers, what's up, Ken? How you doing, buddy? It's great to see you back and driving around in some Formula cars. He's also going to head on into the pits here. Alright, we do have Brodsky as he is heading in through, this looks like that turns 9 right there. He gets out, heading down towards turn 10, this fun little hairpin. I think he might have run his time already, because his ERS is very depleted. He might be also heading into pit lane. Let's find out. Or he's just nailing the perfect... yep, no, right in. Right in he goes. Alright, we do have Brian here. He is about to start his his flying lap as well. He makes his way into the Senna S's turn 1. And then turn 2. A big kind of sweeping left-hander of turn 3, or just flat out all the way down this with the DRS open for turn 4. Quick left, and another little sort of sweeping left for turn 5. Before kind of just a nice little tap of the brakes and lift. Go through 6 and 7, and then you want to brake pretty hard for 8, down into second gear. Get back on the power. Kind of hold that mid-range to get through for turn 9 before heading down to this hairpin turn 10. Make your way through, and then it's kind of get the power down. Hold it down. 5, 6, 7. Up into then down to third for getting around turn 12. Head to turn 13 there. Turn 14 quickly, and DRS is going to be open about now. And we'll see where Brian is able to get his time up into, as he does hop over Wolfo Qaliy for the 1:10.85. And so, looks like, just finished their lap as well, holding on to P6. We're in the final 5.25 minutes of our qualifying. As we can see, King C dot and Alpine of Red Johnny Damon, as he is on his way for his next flying lap as well.
Brazil has produced 3 world champions, all of which have won more than 1 world championship. Fittipaldi, TK, and of course, Zuzana, who went winning his 3rd world championship in 1991 and youngest ever to do so at the time.
So 3 minutes remaining. Everyone's going to be heading out trying to get their last laps in.
Sao Paulo circuit is Brazil's oldest permanent autodrome. The track design is to integrate 3 main circuits.
That was definitely interesting. Not really sure what was going on there. Alright, though. As you can see, we've got a few drivers out and about, getting all kind of their run through of their last laps. Schultz as he is running through. Oh, and our last minute joiner in Ketchin. So he is hopped in as well. You can see down in P15. So we are up to 15 drivers for the day. So we'll have our sprint race and then our feature race coming up fairly shortly. This is with himself up on the top here. It does get into P3 with a 1.108.5. Red Devil drops him back down to 4th as he comes in with a 108.0414. You can see Knick Knack Paddywhack out. He's on his outlap. I believe that's a Haas we've got coming through really quickly. There he is. So he is going to be sitting in 9th. Actually, he is, yeah, making his way through. Sabarino on his, Sabino, sorry. Red Devil working their way through here. We do have the Ferrari of Rip trying to hold on to that first spot. And he makes his way through turn 12, 13, down into 14, and 15. And he's a little bit slower that lap compared to their first one, so their first lap is going to be the one that stays. Schultz on his way in. We do have Knick Knack Paddywhack heading up into P2 with a 108.237. Johnny Damon looking to hopefully hop on up a little bit as well as Brodsky. He is going to stay in P8. Sabino, as they make their way across the finish line and staying in P6. Johnny Damon comes across, holding on to P4. Younger going to slip through here. So I believe one of our last drivers making their final run here. And they are going to hold on to P7. And this will be how it ends. He's still fighting. I don't think he's quite going to have enough. Yeah, a little slower on that one. As we can see, Knick Knack Paddywhack, he is on his way through. He's going to try and fight for that last little bit. That will be how it ends. Knick Knack has dropped down to 3rd. He was holding on to P2. Oh, the Red Devil was able to slip through, gain a little bit of extra time on that final lap. So we will be starting with Rip on first, Red Devil in 2nd, Knick Knack Paddywhack in 3rd, the Johnny Damon in 4th, B. Schultz in 5th, Sabino in 6th, the Younger in 7, Brodsky in 8, King C.9, Boogie in 10, Brian Autry in 11, Wolf Okami in 12, Wolfsburg Tuner in 13, Hayden Rogers in 14, and Ketchen in 15th. So we do have our sprint race coming up rather shortly here. We will quickly hop into a break and allow the drivers to set their strategy for this race, as they will get to choose tires, fuel, all that fun stuff. So we'll take a quick break as we allow them to do all of that. We'll be right back.
Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max, Super, Super Max, 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 Super Max, Max. Ik mis geen race, heb scheid aan mijn centen. Ik zie Max zijn mooiste momenten. Hij is de king van Barcelona. Rijdt alles zoek van Spa tot Monza. De geur van rubber en smeltend asfalt. Ik juich als Max weer één voorbij knalt. Zijn inhaalacties zijn bijzonder. Het is een baas, een wereldwonder. Yo fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1. Yo fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1.
Bizar! Fucking bizar! Ja, dan zit je naar dingen te kijken en te open. En daar is hij. Max Verstappen in de laatste bocht in Barcelona. Yo hey! Yo ho!
Max, 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 super Max, Max, super, super 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 Max, 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 super Max, Max. Jarenlang zit je te kijken en te hopen op succes. Zodra je Max ziet racen op de baan, dan denk je yes. Hij is niet te passeren, niemand krijgt hem cadeau. Hij is een pure racer, vangt ze op en goed nou. Hij is de nieuwe Max. Max is de nieuwe Max. Ja, wij gaan helemaal los. Hij is de nieuwe Max. Super Max, ik ben apetrots. Yo,
And we are about to be underway here as we get ready for our sprint race. Most drivers are going to be on soft or medium tires here. 12 laps around Interlagos most likely is going to be soft tires across the board, but kind of depends how you're feeling and what your tire allocation is left after qualifying. You can see a couple of medium set tires and a little further back. It's all going to be good. So we will have Rip as our leader as we head into the lights.
The circuit went from 4.9 miles an hour to 2.6, making it one of the shortest circuits raced in recent years. The circuit underwent renovations during the late 60s with the hope that modern facilities would entice the FIA to host.
As we are going to get underway, we've got the 5 lights. They are out and we are off as Rip does get himself a good jump. He is going to hold on to that outside end to get himself down. It looks like Red Devil able to hold on to P2, keeping ahead of the Knick Knack Paddywhack. The Johnny Damon do have a little bit of an issue a little further back as it looks like all carnage has gone as Sabino and Sabino and Brodsky getting connected. And Boogie losing a spot to Wolfsburg Tuner as he's made his way up. And we stay, yeah, you can see the little bit of a clump behind, but thankfully for Sabino and Brodsky, they're not too far back. It is a fairly short track. It is very quick, so there's going to be chances to get yourself in. Ketchen and Hayden both having jumped up from 14th and 15th to 8th and 11th respectively. We'll see lots of movement from there as I say that as we watch Ketchen get himself around Boogie. And Bischoltz holding on to his position, staying nice and smooth, trying to catch the Johnny Damon and keep Younger off his tail at the same time. And the Johnny Damon, remember, needs 4 points to get himself ahead and to win the championship between this race and the feature race. Knick Knack Paddywhack just staying just ahead of him. He is able to hold him off, gaining a couple extra points on him. That is going to be massive for increasing how much work the Johnny Damon has to do. King C-Dot looks like he has lost a couple positions there as Wolfsburg Tuner and Ketchen both jumping up. Ketchen now all the way up to 9th position. Hayden Rogers having gained another one as he is now currently holding on to P7 in that Mercedes. Younger, it looks like, has finally gotten himself past Bischoltz. Bischoltz going to have a little bit of work to do. There is a touch of a gap, about 2 seconds behind him and Hayden. Hayden is a very quick driver, so he won't be behind for a super long period of time. But obviously Bischoltz, we had talked about, still dealing with that ABS learning. It's not easy. I hated it. It was a frustrating one to get rid of. So it's definitely doing fantastic from him there. Looks like we do have a little bit of an issue further down. As, ooh, getting a little bumpy between Okami and Brian Autry. Wolfsburg Tuner now dropping another position back to the Ferrari of Ketchen as he has moved up into P8. And he's going to try and close that 3-second gap to Hayden. Hayden having dropped back from Bischultz. Brian Autry getting passed by Wolf Okami as well. Up ahead, we have a 1.7 second lead already for Rip. Off of the Red Devil, and Knick-Knack Paddywhack still holding that little bit of a lead. As we can see, it's fairly close all the way through there. As Bischultz doing what he can. DRS should be active fairly quickly. As we have a little bit of an issue in Sector 2, but I'm not seeing anyone stopped, so second might have been a little off track there. As Bischultz heads his way through, DRS is active, as I did believe, so unfortunately a little bit of a DRS train on the from P2 all the way down to about P6, so you're not really getting a ton. Well, the Johnny Damon looks like he might be almost out of DRS range on Knick-Knack Paddywhack here, as Ketchen loses a position to King C-Dot, who makes a nice move up the inside, able to hold on to it, keep it going. Who is going to be right up on the back of them. Boogie having a great spite as it looks like Ketchen tries to make a move up the outside. Unfortunately not quite able to do it going around turn 4, but he looks like he might be able to get ahead going around turn 5. Does get ahead for turn 6 and will take back over P8. The Johnny Damon still trying to chase down Knick-Knack Paddywhack. He is just on that cusp of losing DRS, which he really is not going to want to do. With Knick-Knack being ahead of him, that's going to be points he is going to have to earn again in the feature race if he is going to finish behind. We'll probably have a little bit of problem. Having dropped back now down to P14. Sabino making a slight recovery as well, as they've gone from 15th back up to 12th and starting to reel in a Wolfsburg Tuner as well. I think Okami has... No, it doesn't look like there's anything. It does have now a time penalty. Hayden Rogers looks like he had a little bit of an incident. I'm unsure where that happened. This will close the field up nice and tight, as it looks like an unfortunate incident for Hayden there. Oh, and Brian Autry has himself a problem, and he is also DNF'd. Down, you can see at the bottom, just coming out of turn 3 there. I'm not sure what happened with Hayden, or with Hayden or Brian, because I didn't expect Brian to have a problem right at that point, but unfortunately he did. So we have lost 2 of our drivers down to number 13 in our first safety car of the race. So lap 5 of 12. Is going to get himself a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Rip is going to come into the pits. Interesting. It's going to drop him a little bit away. It looks like he is going to come out just ahead of Ketchen. Possibly. Actually, he might not. This Ketchen is going to go around him, so yeah, he is going to drop very much out. Might come out ahead of Boogie. Yeah, it looks like he is going to come out just ahead of Boogie here. Very interesting choice, pitting for some new soft tires. We'll have to see if that pays off. Obviously, by the time we get going, race being at lap 6 of 12, we will have a few laps to go, but we'll at least have another, let's say, probably 2 laps. Kicking around here at the under safety car, but we'll see. This should be our final lap under safety car here as we head into the sector. And it looks like Brodsky had a last second pit stop. Oh, Wolfsburg Tuner getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not really sure. But safety car will be in this lap. We'll be back under green, so the Red Devil will take over as the proverbial safety car. We will back the field on up, allow the safety car to get out of the way. Knack Paddywhack wasting 0 time getting ready to go here. There he goes and does get a good jump. Ooh, the Johnny Damon almost was able to kind of pull it there. So not a whole lot of change. Group is going to pass both catching. Oh no, he was able to catch both, but he gets a little loose on the outside there, and he's going to lose both positions and the position to Boogie. And now he's kind of on that outside foot as he does get around Boogie. Now we do not have DRS enabled, so that's not going to help him. He was just about outside of DRS, but we are still going forward. Red Devil holding off now about a half second ahead. Same with the Johnny Damon being just about a half second behind of the Nick Aquadoy. And oh nope, we have another problem. Sabino has a DNF and an issue there as they were going to get, actually we get a collision with Wolfokami. That is going to bring out another safety car there. I'm trying to see. Doesn't look like there's any issue in terms of damage on that McLaren. Unfortunately, it did get a penalty for taking out their teammate. I'm not really sure what happened. I did not catch that one, but that looks like that is going to be the end for Sabino as part of this sprint race. So that'll be lap 8, another safety car. So we're looking at probably getting ready again on lap 10, maybe 11. And kind of having a one-lap shootout as we make our way through to the end of this sprint race. as we are back under safety car. Everyone is collected, but I don't think they're going to be... Yeah, they're not coming in this lap. We'll most likely be looking in for the next lap to get underway and get ourselves back under green, hopefully. Hopefully we will be headed to our green flag right away here. As we make our way through turn 9, heading towards turn 10. Sure enough, safety car will be in this lap, so we will have lap 11 and lap 12 to be able to get our results of this. So the Younger having hopped ahead of the Johnny Damon, so that Johnny Damon is going to lose out on 2 positions as of currently on Knick Knack Paddywhack, so this is going to continue for sure into the feature race. Does take off. We are back under green, heading into turn 1. Knick Knack Paddywhack holding on to P2. Younger right up there. B Schultz gets past the Johnny Damon and takes up into P4. The Johnny Damon dropping down into P5. King Sita has himself a little bit of an incident. Looks like he might have taken off the wing. Okay. And, yeah, so Ketchin gets his way through, and I think that's a caution of that it's not going to even bring out anything. Well, alright. So, the Johnny David, unfortunately, having dropped down to P5, he is having himself a little bit of problems. He is going to have a little bit of work to do now. As we make our way through, going up for our final time. Around Interlagos as the Red Devil still holding on to P1. Knick Knack, though, is trying to make a late charge for it as he does cut up on the inside. Gets not quite a good exit, but they are going to duel it out. Looks like Knick Knack is going to just sneak ahead. He is going to take the lead. B Schultz holding on to P3. Oh no, B Schultz has himself a little bit of an incident, and that is going to drop him down the order. Younger is going to take up, but the Johnny Damon actually cuts it down on the inside, takes the inside line, and is able to get up into P3. So he's only going to be 2 positions back as Knick Knack Paddywhack does take the final major corner of turn 12 before he gets on the gas. And this is going to be a quick rip down to the start-finish line for Knick Knack Paddywhack as he is able to hold it off the Red Devil as well as the Johnny Damon. Making the Johnny Damon going to have to do a little bit more work to be able to get himself into the championship there. And we will have Some interesting conversations happening very, very quickly.
One of many things.
And that will be our finishing order here. Fantastic race. But we'll have a very interesting start for the next the feature race. We'll see what ends up happening in this one. As you can see, as we have Knick Knack Paddywhack in P1, Red Devil in P2, the Johnny Dame in P3, Younger in P4, Ketchin in P5, Boogie in 6, Brodsky in 7, B Schultz in 8, Wolfsburg Tuner in 9, Wolf Okami in 10, and then, unfortunately, King C. Dot, Rip, Sabino, Brian, and Hayden Rogers all going to DNF. So we went into this race with Johnny Damon needing to take 4 points off of Knick Knack Paddywhack, and he so far has given up 2, so he is now going to have to take 6 points off of him in the feature race to be able to hold on to, or to be able to take the championship there. So unfortunately there, but we will see how it all plays out. With that, we're going to take a very quick break as we are going to have to get organized and all that for the feature race here. So we will be right back.
King Ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1. Yo fucking ho, niet meer normaal. Hij is een held en gaat maximaal. Fucking bizar, een fenomeen. Hij gaat naar de top, Max is de nummer 1.
Yo, fucking hell, wat bizar. Ongelooflijk. Sportoverwinningen zijn zo mooi. En deze is de allermooiste die ik in mijn leven gezien heb. Jongen, jongen, jongen.
Max, Max,
All right, and as we head into the start of our feature race,
3 world champions, all of which have the one winning his 3rd world championship in
and we are off. Knick-Knack Paddywhack does hold on to the lead. You can see Ketchen has hopped up into P2 already, getting himself a fantastic start to this race. We do have a little bit of an incident further back. So it looks like Hayden had himself a little bit of a spin. He is going to be back underway. Johnny Damon also having a little bit of a problem, as he is now down near the back. As you can see, Sabino, you can see behind him. And behind them, the Johnny Damon and Olsberg tuner. Knick-Knack Paddywhack does take on to the lead, catching up quickly, sticking right on the back of him. Expected strategies: medium soft / softs to mediums, or medium and hard, or hard medium. So as you can see, we have Rip has made his way back up into P6 on those hard tires, going to try and push those as far as he can. He is right on the back of B. Schultz as they make their way around for the first lap. Knick-Knack, you can see, taking the lead. And as we see Ketchen trying to go around on the outside as they make their way down into turn 1. Don't think he's quite going to be able to get around him. But he does make it through the S's and takes over in the lead there. So we now have Ketchen from Knick-Knack. Rip does make his way past B. Schultz as well. And King C-Dot has a little bit of a problem. He ends up losing a couple of positions. I think kind of stuck in a spot there that he just couldn't make a move. Ends up losing out on a couple of spots. Brian does get passed by Savino as well. Johnny Damon looking like he is going to have some work to try and make his way back up to the front, as Knick-Knack now has opened up a massive amount of space between the two. And that could cause some problems for him trying to close out this championship here. And it does look like we have a little bit of an incident. It looks like, I think that's Wolfsburg Tuner getting himself a little spun out as they made their way through turn 8 into turn 9. But he is all good, avoids all collisions, and is back underway. Ketchen still holding on to P1. Just behind him, Knick-Knack Paddywhack. We do have Red Devil. Rip as he makes his way through past Younger and into turn 1. Right behind as well, B. Schultz in P6. We have Boogie a little ways back in P7. And Brodsky kind of floating around. Ooh, looks like almost a bit of a collision behind him, as Wolf Okami and King C-Dot almost connected front wing to rear tires. And Knick-Knack Paddywhack has made his way past Ketchen again. I believe a little aided by the DRS as we make our way through. Looks like we have B. Schultz with a little bit of an issue as he had spun coming out of turn 12. He is all good and back underway. We lost a few positions, but nothing too dangerous there. As Rip does get past Red Devil and now trying to chase down Knick-Knack Paddywhack and Ketchen. As Ketchen has taken back over the lead.
Interlagos translates from Portuguese to between lanes. The certainty was named due to 2 lanes inside the area that
As we have ourselves a little bit of a problem. It looks like Wolfsburg Tutor had a little issue there. It looks like he's missing a little bit of his wing, but he will probably be able to continue. So we'll have to head on in, but it does look like we do have Wolf Okami having a little bit of a spin as well. But they are continuing, and I don't think any damage. So once again, all the good news for them. see Nick takes that inside line, is able to get his way past Ketchin. Let's see if his teammate is going to do the same thing. Unfortunately, it does not look like a Rip is going to be able to get past going into turn 1. Ketchin kind of letting him go by, letting his teammate go by. So I believe it's he does have his teammate a little quicker. But Nick doing what he can now to fight off the advances of the double Ferrari behind him. And Bischoltz unfortunately having a little bit of an issue in the turn 6, turn 7 area. He's back underway and moving, so no safety cars there. As Hayden makes his way past Brian a little further back there, is now trying to catch King C Dot. I believe that his King C Dot's AI, so it shouldn't be too difficult for him to get around. As there he goes up on the outside and takes over. Fortunately, it looks like Bischoltz decided he is done. He is pulled into the pits and retired. See a Rip just trying to get his way past, but Nick really holding on to that lead, just making it viable as he makes his way through, holding on to it, trying to create as much space as he can. Ketchin kind of doing his best play of defense here, allowing his teammate to kind of create a little bit of space without losing the DRS himself. He's kind of in danger of losing that DRS. And then we can see a Rip going right past Nick as they make their way through into turn 1. And now taking on the lead. Oh, looks like Ketchin has himself a little bit of a spin, as he has now lost that. He's going to drop down Younger, getting a 3-second time penalty for cutting corners, which I think unfortunately was partially because he was trying to avoid there, but not exactly what he wanted, as that's going to basically put him in no man's land. So now his goal is going to be trying to stay 3 seconds ahead of Ketchin. Incident in Sector 2, but it looks like it's all moving forward again, so no issues there. As Knick-Knack trying to do what he can to stay on the back of Rip. That very fast Ferrari while he's holding on in that Williams. Red Devil having dropped back a little bit. He is now under threat of Younger, and Younger going to do what he can. Like I said, try and open as much of a gap between him and whoever is behind them. It looks like Brian has hopped his way into the pits as we are through lap 9 of 36. John and Damon having made up some space here as he is in P9, working his way back up. Looks like, oh, we have a DNF off to the left there of Boogie. And that will be a safety car as we now have lost both our Red Bull drivers.
There has produced 3 world champions, 1 world championship, basically DK, and of course,
Yeah, and a mad dash into the pit lane. As everyone is going to be doing what they can to sort of hop on in.
as the tower power circuit sits, 800 meters above sea level.
On the ring, Rip Ferrari holding on to P1. And Sabino going to be just behind them. Yeah, so unfortunately we lost both our Red Bulls here. As we make our way through our second lap under safety cars. We have a couple of cars trying to catch back up here. We can get ourselves back underway. Looks like have at least one more lap here. Hopefully, we can get ourselves back underway really close, or rather soon. Back underway. Safety car is in. It is going to take off right away there, and as we are back green, makes his way into turn 1, has a little bit of an incident, catches just about, but that's going to actually send the McLaren back a few positions as Nick Nakai is able to hop past. And a lot of weaving in the background there, which is not what you want to see too much of. As the Red Devil also is going to be able to get his way through the Johnny Demon, passing through on King C. Dot. As Rip is going to take off and create a little bit of a gap. Younger is also going to get his way through, and it looks like Ketchin is raring to do the same. As you can see, Kitchen and Savino seems to be having some kind of an issue as they've dropped down now to P9 of Johnny Damon, Brodsky, Hayden Rush, and Kitchen all getting their way through. And it looks like Brodsky has a little bit of a problem coming out of turn 1 as they get themselves a little bit sideways. That's gonna bring out a safety car. As they did lose their front wing. I'm not really sure that needed a safety car, but that is what it will bring out. I mean, lucky enough for the Haas that they're going to have the ability to swing into the pit lane and not lose out on too much time. There we go. A few other drivers going to swing in to get some new tires, get themselves back underway. Second safety car. looks like we're going to go around at least one more time here before getting back underway. Hopefully, we should be back underway here rather shortly. Safety car is going to be in, so Rip is going to become our proverbial safety car as he bunches up the field as best he can and then just takes off. And Brian going to get himself a drive-through penalty, and he's going to get disqualified, and that will be the end of his day. So we are now down 3, and that will drop him actually to 15th, and Boogie and Bichette will finish both ahead of him after that. This group before really trying to push Hayden Rogers. Trying to stick on, as is the Johnny Demon, who's made some progress, getting slightly closer. Doing what he can to try and minimize the damage there of lost points, needing 6 to win the championship, 6 above, and unfortunately, that's not going to help as he and Catching go for a little bit of a spin and drop them back down the order. It doesn't look like either one took any damage, but rather unfortunate there. As McCart gets his way through on a Rip there, dropping him into P2. But he is going to take a swing ahead as they make their way into turn 4. And he will take back the lead as they head into the interior turns complex of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 in Sector 2. Aiden looking to do what he can to try and get himself around younger. King C-Dot getting himself a time penalty, unfortunately. As we come to the conclusion of lap 18. And now for lap 19, DRS is going to be enabled once again. You see as Hayden Rogers does get himself past the Red Devil. Qaliy going to have the inside line. So he's able to get himself past Rip and into the lead once again. As Rip does get a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to be a big obstacle, I guess, to have to climb now, as he is going to have that there on him. As the Johnny Demon actually is going to lose out on a spot to Kitchen. Nick just needs to do what he can to try and keep it safe, keep ahead. He has both the second and third place drivers are hit with a 3-second time penalty. As the Johnny Damon will actually has managed to get himself back up into 9th, and then loses a spot to Ketchin, who went around the outside. As these guys are kind of dueling it out. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but Ketchin managed to get up on the inside of the Johnny Damon, and he's going to have DRS. Actually, they both have DRS, so it's a straight up drag race down to turn 4. And Ketchin is going to hold on to that. As Nick is holding on to that first place. Ketchin getting himself a 3-second time penalty. It seems like half the field now dealing with 3-second time penalties, and that's not ideal for most of those drivers. In all this, Hayden might actually end up in P2 as he is sitting behind 2 drivers who both have a 3-second time penalty. Same with the Red Devil. As a safety car comes out. Not sure what happened. It looks like a Ferrari off into the wall, but also taking out Younger and Sabino. So that's going to lose us, what, 6 drivers through this now? So we are going to have our 3rd safety car, and Nick Paddywhack followed very closely behind by Hayden Rogers there. And it's going to be sort of a mad dash into the pits, so Hayden Rogers getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. That's not going to be great. Soft tires are going to go on for lap 22 here. We have a couple of people hopping into the pits with their last little touch-ups before this final kind of stretch before we head into the back half of this race. The safety car should be in at the end of this lap, and we'll be back underway, hopefully, rather shortly. Safety car will be in this lap. Knick-Knack going to take over as our proverbial safety car as we head into lap 25 right away. As we slowly make our way through into the final corners, and he does take off, getting a great jump and creating a good chunk of space. As we start our way through. As he does hold on, Hayden Rogers does get himself past King C-Dot. Now both of them have a time penalty, as also Red Devil, who does not have a time penalty, is able to get his way through as well. Nice catch and starting to move up the field a little bit as well. He does take over fourth from King C-Dot. John Damon also getting his way up into P5. as Hayden Rogers has taken over the lead. However, again, with that time penalty, might not mean a whole lot. As we make our way through with 10 laps to go now. And entering lap 27, it looks like, yeah, Hayden Rogers going to come in to try and serve that time penalty. Oh, no, he did stay out. Looked like he was going in. But the Red Devil is going to hold on to and take over P2. DRS is going to be enabled. As you can see, Kitchen now trying to catch Knick-Knack Paddywhack. Red Devil is going to be ahead. Red Devil is on a soft tire, so he is going to have a little bit more speed. And unfortunately for Knick-Knack, that might mean he's not going to be quite as easily able to catch up. And he has to worry about the Johnny Damon in P5 behind him. The Johnny Damon obviously is trying to catch him. He does need to create a gap and get 6 more points. I don't know if he's going to quite be able to do it in this race, but things happen, so we will hopefully see very shortly what's going to end up happening as we make our way through. Having finished now 27 laps. As Ketchen and Knick-Knack Paddywhack go side by side through turn 10 fantastically. Ketchen ending up getting himself up ahead and helping out Red Devil just a little bit. Now there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. And then they go side by side through the S's. This little group of 3 providing some entertaining, very close, almost a little bit of a touch there. But they are still going to keep it clean, all 3 of them barreling down towards turn 4. As it looks like Knick-Knack is going to hold on just ahead of the Johnny Damon. But this is going to be a dogfight to the end here as we come through. A couple, only about, what was that, about 7-ish laps left. Knick-Knack Paddywhack now, they're kind of yo-yoing on who's going to be ahead. The Johnny Damon does make the pass. That's going to be huge, but he's going to have to try and get past Ketchen as well and start to create as much of a gap in behind him as he can between him and Knick-Knack Paddywhack. we're starting on a lap 33 here. All right, as we head into our final few laps, Knick Knack Paddywhack needing to stay within 6 points to prevent the Johnny Damon from being able to win the championship on this race here. Whisper Tuner is going to get himself a little bit of a time penalty, but he is going to still get himself some points as well. Hayden Rogers holding on to the lead from the Red Devil, or actually, sorry, I keep saying the Red Devil. From Red Devil, he does have a 3-second time penalty, so the Red Devil just needs to try and keep it clean, whereas Hayden needs to really start to open up that gap. Johnny Damon doing what he can. He's now within that DRS zone to be able to try and reel in Catching God. 3-second time penalty for sure. That is going to cost him on both drivers behind him. He's going to need, the Johnny Damon needs to really get on his horse, see if he can try and catch up to the Red Devil. I don't think he's going to have enough time as we come into our last 3 laps here. Does take a look to the inside on Catching, decides against it last second. Gets back behind him. As the Johnny Damon pushing, he's about 3/10 back. They're about 4/10 behind. Oh, he catches that little bit of a spin. That's going to cost him a little bit of time there, as he's going to drop down to out of about 6/10 instead. Has that little bit of a spin. As we come in to the end of lap 34 and lap 35, 2 laps to go. Johnny Damon has gotten out of DRS for Knick Knack Paddywhack, but I think he actually might still have it in the detection zone. Ooh, it'll be close. It's going to be able to create a little bit of a gap here. Wolfcom going to hit themselves a time penalty as well. The Johnny Damon making his way past Catching. Catching doing what he can, trying to sort of stay out of the way, but also pick fights as best he can. As again, Hayden Rogers has a 1.6 second lead, but I don't think it's not going to be quite enough, as we are going to be making it into... was Catching drops behind Knick Knack Paddywhack as well. Hayden Rogers in first currently, but he does have that time penalty as he makes his way through the S's as we are on our last lap. Needing to create as much of a gap. It looks like he's still going to be able to hold on to a podium position, as the Johnny Damon in P3 is going to be 4 seconds back. He is trying to reel him in. Not quite sure he's going to be able to sort of get back to that spot. Catching does finish, or end up sliding ahead, but Knick Knack, oh, those two are yo-yoing their way back and forth in this drag race right into the back of the Johnny Damon. A little bit of a nudge, space given. Ooh, Knick Knack gets a little slidey. It looks like he touched a little bit of grass on that one. As we can see, Hayden Rogers is going to come around. He is going to take the on-track win, but he is going to have a 5-second time penalty. Actually, this could hurt him a lot more. The Johnny Damon thankfully actually ends up losing a bunch of time, and Hayden is going to hold on to P2. The Red Devil does take the win with Knick Knack Paddywhack and Catching ahead. King C-Dot, he's going to be the next one across here. Unfortunately for the Johnny Damon, I don't think he's going to have enough to win the championship this race, so we will have to see how he ends up doing in Las Vegas. King C. crosses there in P6. We do have Brodsky as he makes his way around, coming into the final corner. I believe Wolfsburg Tuner is also going to finish just ahead here. Yeah, that'll be that. And we do have Brodsky as he makes his way around the final corner of turn 15. Heading towards the finish line, finishing in P7. Wolfokami going to be our final finisher as they will come across in P8. And that is going to do it from us in Interlagos on the Brazilian Grand Prix. Started with 15, ended with 9. Driver of the day is going to go to Hayden Rogers. He had a fantastic drive, a very unfortunate time or penalties there, but he does hold on to P2. And then congratulations to the Red Devil for his win. Very quietly worked his way through the field to get back up into the front. Fantastic day overall from him. All right, and as you can see, the results on the weekend, he only gains 3 points on Knick Knack Paddywhack, so he will have some work to do next week in Vegas. As you can see, Red Devil with the win, the Johnny Damon finishing in P2, Knick Knack Paddywhack in P3, Hayden Rogers in P... Oh, sorry, no, that's... I want this one. There we go. So Red Devil in P1, Hayden Rogers in P2, the Johnny Damon in P3, Knick Knack Paddywhack in P4, Ketchin in P5, King C. in 6, Brodsky in 7, Wolfokami in 8, and Wolfsburg Tuner in 9. After that, we've got Younger, Rip, Sabino, Boogie, B. Schultz, Brian, all not quite finishing this one. So a fantastic drive out of Hayden and the Red Devil. Congratulations on the win to the Red Devil as well. And hopefully we will see them both back for Vegas. And with that, as you can see next week, January 14th, we will be in Las Vegas for our first visit to that one. And we will see what is going to happen with the championship final drive. With that, we will end up ending this one. A fantastic day all around. Congratulations once again to Red Devil. Great drive out of him. Great win and good times. Ketchin, appreciate you coming on in. Nice race for you today there, bud. But we will hopefully see you guys all for the next one, like I said, in Vegas next Sunday, January 14th, around 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully we'll catch you all there. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic start to your week, and we will hopefully catch you again for the next one. Have you guys